With so many things going on right now with immigration, it's just like, I think everybody's in a weird space, right? Some people agree with what Trump is doing, and you have others that totally disagree. But nevertheless, we have a lady, and she has a lot to say. Let's check this video out.
As a second-generation American whose grandparents immigrated to the U.S. legally, y'all need to shut the fuck up about deportation. It's really not that hard to understand that if you do something illegal, you're going to suffer the consequences. And I don't want to hear any of this bullshit. Illegal immigrants pay this much in taxes. Illegal immigrants make up this much of the workforce. So do serial killers. So do rapists. So do thieves. Should we just not arrest them because they contribute to society in some way? No, that's not how it works. You do something illegal, you pay for the consequences of your actions. If you are an illegal immigrant, you can self-report and get completely free transportation, you and your whole family, back to your home country. And a lot of other countries don't have that. Go to Russia and try that shit. You'll be locked up for 50 years, and you'll probably be tortured and eventually killed. And every single country practices deportation. It's just a fucking fact. But somehow, people in America are the only people complaining about this. Right now, if I wanted to try to go to Canada, France, Italy, Belgium, fucking anywhere, if I tried to go there, no passport, no visas, no paper, and just try to start living there and working there, guess what? I would get deported too, because that's illegal. And then people will say, oh, well, people are getting separated from their families. People are getting taken right in front of their kids. Guess what? If I robbed a bank and didn't turn myself in, and I'm sitting at a diner with my whole family, the police don't give a fuck. They're gonna take me. If you do something illegal, that's just what's gonna fucking happen. And then I hear people say, oh, well, they've been here for years. They've been here for 10 years working hard in the U.S. So you're telling me that they've been here for 10 years and have still not taken the steps to become a legal citizen? That sounds like a them problem. Honestly, there is no fucking excuse. There is no excuse. People are so brainwashed that they genuinely want people in our country who have no background checks, no screening. They could be a fucking cartel member for all we know. And they want American taxpayers to provide for them. That's exactly what they want. Again, I come from an immigrant family who worked hard to get here. And it is disrespectful that people think they can just skip the line. People think they're that important that they get to come the easier way. They get to skip the line. That's not how it fucking works. Follow the law and you'll be fine. Immigrants are fine. Illegal immigrants, sorry, you're out of fucking luck.
That was definitely a lot. But I gotta be honest, I agree with what this young lady said.
She had some very strong points.
She did. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to what's going on, because I mean, right now you can't even pretend that you're not seeing it. Everything is in the forefront. You turn on the TV, it's on every news network, it's on YouTube, it's all over social media. And from what I could see, it's like, it's a lot that's going on. It's a lot to take in. However, my stance is do things the right way.
Right.
Do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And as this young lady mentioned, if you commit a crime of any sort, it doesn't matter what it is. And her example was, even if you're sitting down in a diner with your family, right, you did something wrong, they're going to come and get you at any time, any place, anywhere. They don't care. My whole thing is this. When you come into the country, there's proper procedures and protocols that needs to be followed. Mm-hmm. You know when you're coming from wherever you're coming from, because this country has open borders. That's another thing, right? And you know once you touch down on American soil, you know for a fact that you're doing it illegally. So why do that? Right. It doesn't make any sense. Do it now. I'm going to try to reap the benefit, and then if anything goes down, I'm going to complain later. It just doesn't make any sense. Why not just take the appropriate measures in order to do this shit properly? You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that when they get here, they have very little money to even survive? That's the reason why it goes neglected for so many years? In some instances. That they would come here, work, try to establish the amount of money in order to pay for the exam in order to take it.
Well, the thing about it is, before they're
coming over with a different language.
Not every immigrant.
The majority of them.
Some.
They're not
because there's immigrants
English.
from because I know right now we're just mostly focusing on Mexico and some of the Central American countries, but this is like widespread.
Yeah, worldwide.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's being, deported, whether it be Caribbean people, African people, Hispanic people, even Asian people from certain countries.
Correct.
It really, it really doesn't matter whether or not if you speak English and if you couldn't take the citizenship test or whatever because, or that you came with a certain amount of money. That's not, for me, it's more so, right?
Get it done right then and there.
Right, get it done right then and there. But a lot of times people, even outside of the aspect of immigration, right? Let's, for instance, a robber. He would make robbing banks or whatever it is a freaking career.
Correct.
Always thinking that he's not going to get caught. Knowing damn well that he's doing something illegal.
Perfect
It's
example.
the same thing with this situation.
Yeah.
You came illegally.
Yeah.
There is a high chance that you're going to get caught.
Correct, yeah.
Right? So why not just do it the correct way? I understand. Maybe you had to flee your country, whatever it is. You woke up one morning, you're like, I'm tired of this shit.
Right.
I'm ready to go.
Right.
It doesn't matter. There's still people that they're in line waiting. They filed
for their approval
and they're just
status.
waiting. They're waiting for that approval status, right?
Yeah.
And here it is. You just skip the line. I know when we're driving and we're in line and somebody just comes and try to merge and skip the line. It's like, come on. Get your ass back there and wait. It's the same thing, but on a much larger scale.
Yeah, but
right?
to the way I look at things, I understand everybody's angry. The way people address situations could be a little bit harsh, a little bit aggressive and offensive as well.
Right.
Back in the days, the exam it would used to cost maybe about $60 in order to take the naturalization exam. Right. Now I believe it's about $760.
Yes.
So, could they have afforded it back then? Who knows?
But still,
who knows? But $60
even before you're able to sit down and take that citizenship exam,
yeah,
there's still you have to be vetted.
Yes.
Right. You
yes,
have to
yes,
submit
yes.
the appropriate documentation.
And you have to understand the language that
right.
you're going to be.
People come here speaking all types of different languages, and they're able to get by, run restaurants.
Yeah.
And you're the one who happen to speak English, and you are the one trying to pull out Google. You know what I'm saying? Translator.
But
to have them understand what you're saying.
Right. But
meanwhile, this is an English-speaking country. You know what I'm saying?
When you hear the arguments of the typical, American versus somebody who's not from here, what do they always tell you? You're in my country. You need to learn English.
Right.
So it's like, America is all about
English. But that's not the case. Even though that is what you're saying, it doesn't matter if you speak French, Spanish.
You can hold on
Hindi.
to your native. You can hold on to your native language.
Listen,
but you still have to
how many people? No, that's not true. How many people do we know right now? Right? They speak Spanish, and they are able to get by. And I know a lot of people who speak Spanish who's been here for 30, 40, 50 years and still can't speak English because it's not mandatory. When they go down to whatever office or location or wherever it is that they have to conduct business, hold on, we'll get you a translator. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not this is so crazy, right? Because my aunt, she went down to she took a trip over to Europe and they ended up in France. My aunt doesn't speak French. However, the native people of France, they develop such an attitude as to like, I'm not going to sit here and try to help you figure out what the hell is it that you're trying to order and what it is that you're trying to say.
Correct.
For one, you should either, speak French
in reverse,
or brought somebody along with you who spoke French. So it's like there's...
In reverse, America does the same thing.
No, in America, there's translators all over the place.
Yes, but they
even
all
in
have
the medical division.
They all have the same attitude as to why.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Even in the hospital division, we would have people that would come in that speaks Hindi. Okay? And we would pick up the phone and get a Hindi translator on the phone for them. They speak Russian. They speak whatever, Portuguese. So it's like once they show up here, it's always something to accommodate them. But if you go over to their country, there's no accommodation. It's either you get with the program or your ass go back home. Figure it out.
In other cultures and other countries, right? They do express different forms of deportations.
Yes.
But the only thing is the aggression that they may take towards it in comparison to the aggression that the Americans are taking towards the deportation of what's going on.
Okay.
Maybe it's not publicized, but she's right. Every country does go through their own form of deportation.
And every country has rules, laws, and regulations that have to be followed.
If you don't follow most of those rules as far as immigration status, do they deport you the same way with the same aggression?
Yeah.
No,
yes.
I've never seen it.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I've never seen it.
No, well, here's the thing, right? Because we're mainstream media.
Right.
Okay? When it comes down to the United States, a lot of people, just about almost every country on the map sees how America does things. But very rarely do you see how other countries do things, right? Yeah. They don't really put it out there for Americans to see. That's why it's important for Americans to also do their due diligence and educate, self-educate, right? Not even just by in regards to entering a country. Even if you're going to stay your ass here on American soil, it doesn't matter. You got to still self-educate in order to know different things. So therefore, if you want to go out on a limb and support other people who may not even have any type of love for you, basically, you got to know who it is that you're rallying and supporting. Because like I said, a lot of times when it comes down to Americans, very nonchalant, don't really know a lot of what's going on, but quick to join the bandwagon in support of a lot of things that they're totally clueless about. Whereas when you go to other countries, they're less oblivious. They know what their stance is, and they're not going to back you in regards to some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If they're going to back you and support you, they got to know what they're getting into. Correct. What I'm saying is, if you wake up one day and you say, something, I want to go over to Holland, I want to go to the Netherlands, there's certain paperwork, there's certain things that you have to have in place. You have to have your passport. There's certain even when it comes down to vaccines and different things, you have to make sure listen, and when you go there, they're going to make sure that you're here for vacation purposes only. Me personally, I like to interject myself into different scenarios, right? Because it's one thing to see something and just put your little spin on things in your 2 cents. But if you put yourself into other people's shoes, you will see a different perspective.
Correct.
Okay? Like I said, you're over in the Netherlands. You finally get through your paperwork. Everything was filed, whatever. You're over there. Imagine you go over there and you knock everything that's over there. When I say knock everything, you dislike everything. Question is, why are you over there?
Why are you over there in the first place?
Okay? I don't like it over here in the Netherlands. I think the food is trash. I think the people are garbage. I think this. I think that. I think whatever.
Well, then
and
again,
then guess
you're
what?
entitled
And
to
then
an opinion.
now you decide that you want to take to the streets and rally with other Americans who happen to be in the Netherlands. Take the Netherlands flag, right? Burn that flag and start flying your flag in the Netherlands. Who the freak do you think you are? That's crazy. So it's the same thing that's going on right now, right here.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a lot of different flags and stuff being promoted. Meanwhile, they're burning the American flag. If you really feel a particular way about a country,
don't go
then
there.
Why are you even here? You know what I'm saying? There's different ways in which you got to do things. I'm not saying that you can't support where you're from. You can't, fly your flag or whatever, but don't do it in the essence while you're knocking another nation, because it makes you look kind of crazy and contradictory if you're over here, but yet you're still like, oh, this nation is full of shit. That's just my spin and take on the whole thing. It makes no sense.
It's wild and crazy because, you did raise many great points. It's wild and crazy to the fact that, you want to go to another country and just try to uproot everything that they're accustomed to just to comfort yourself.
Right.
And then turn around and create a coalition in regards to that and have everybody not favoring that place to travel or to vacations anymore. That's ridiculous. In regards to what she said as far as, the illegals who are serial killers or who could possibly be serial killers or rapists or things like that. I totally agree with her on that point, and I say that those type of people, they don't deserve to be amongst the others who are actually trying to do
thriving people that's waking up every morning and doing what they got to do, so on and so forth. And here it is, you just come and you want to skip the line and benefit to the highest capacity and get everything that's due onto somebody else, but instead you want everything. That's not gonna fly. It's a sense of entitlement, And there's a time and place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get out what you put in. Don't expect to get something if you haven't put in on this. Right. All right? And that's just basically it. That's just basically
if you do dirt, you're going to get dirt. You do something wrong, there's repercussions. Let us know how you feel in the comment section in regards to what's going on about this.